26 is what I have marked. This is the beginning of the telling of God's relationship with Abraham. Abraham was from where originally? Ur of the Chaldees, which is, some maps have Garden of Eden and what have you there, all pretty. David said he's been there. So if we got any questions about the geography, David can fill us in. But God tells him, just get up and go and I'll show you a place. And so they get up and go. And his father goes with him, and his nephew goes with him. And they go to a place that they name after, remember, Lot's daddy has passed away at Ur. And they go to a place that they name it after, and they name it Haran. That's the way I pronounce it. And they stay there a while. And it looks like Haran is a long ways out of the way, if you got a map, from Ur to the land of Canaan. But one of my commentaries pointed out is that there is a river that runs all the way up through there, and then it changes into another river. They was following water all the way, which would make it easier, because the other way was going across a bunch of really hot, dry land. So they was following the water all the way. But God has Abraham go to the land of Canaan, and there he prospers, and God makes a promise to him that his seed will be like the sands of the sea and the stars in the sky, and all the nations of the world will be blessed through his descendant. And then what happens? No kids. No kids. Now, Abraham must have had the best looking wife in the country, evidently. Because at least twice they go somewhere and Abraham is afraid that they'll kill him to get her, and she's no young spring chicken. When they go to Egypt, it says that Abraham is 75 years old. So how old would Sarah be?
65.
She's 65. Yeah, Pharaoh said, hey, Pharaoh's got all the women he wants, I reckon, but anyway, I want her too, you know. So she must have aged really well. And later on is the same thing. What does he have Sarah tell everybody? He's my brother. I'm his sister. Is that true? Kind of, isn't it? His half sister. She's also his husband. You know, later on, God forbids this kind of marriage. But that, you know, we've always, you know, people. That's one of the questions. Well, you know, God sent Cain out. Abel. No, Cain. You know, and cursed Cain, and if Cain found a wife, well, where did he get? Well, they knew he married their sisters. God evidently allowed it for quite a while because that's the only options. But here, Abraham marries his half sister, but they have no kids. But anyway, where we're starting at now, they go on down into in the land of Egypt because of a famine. But they don't leave Haran until after his father dies. And then they start again on their journey. And then in chapter 12, we find where Abraham he goes down to Egypt. Why does he go to Egypt? Famine. Why does Jacob's family go to Egypt? Famine. Remember, Jacob's a descendant of Abraham. Why would there be food in Egypt and not anywhere else? Yeah, Joseph's one, but this particular case here this is before Joseph. Why is there nearly always food in Egypt and not other places? The Nile River. They don't necessarily have to rely on monthly rains or weekly rains like we do here in Egypt, because where the Nile River comes, if it comes from, if it's snowed or whatever in the mountains, while their river runs all summer long. And they irrigate. This is how come they usually had food. One deal I read several years ago, and it may be different now, but as far as the land, as Egypt is concerned, there was lots of crop land for about 12 miles on each side of the Nile River. That was about as far as they could irrigate. And after that, it's just all desert. But whatever was close enough to that river to irrigate, it was good. They grew lots of crops. But other than that, they very seldom rain. Very seldom rain. Even today. So Abraham goes down to the land of Egypt, and they tell everybody that Sarah is his sister, and Pharaoh finds out about it and sends him on his way. Threatens everybody, said, "You leave that woman alone, because it'll be all kinds of trouble for us." And then when they go back to the land of Canaan, find my place here. I'm over in chapter 13. I'm just kind of summarizing this because many of these things we all studied so many times. We kind of, if you have a question on something, we'll talk about it. But anyway, in chapter 13, they get back to the land of Canaan, and Abraham and his nephew Lot, they've got lots and lots of animals. And it becomes so many animals, they have trouble finding enough grass for all these animals. And so there becomes a dispute between Abraham's servants and Lot's servants on who gets what particular land. When really and truthfully it would have been beneficial for them to stay together because of other people trying to steal what they got. The more men you have to defend with, the more likely you are to be able to keep what you got. But Abraham and Lot's servants, they can't get along. And Abraham said, "It's not good. We're kinfolks. It's not good to have arguments." What does he tell Lot? What choice does he give Lot? Give him first choice. If you go this direction, I'll go the other way. If you go that direction, I'll go the other way from that. You get first choice. And we find it says that Lot pitched his tent toward Sodom. It's not long after that we find out where is Lot living at? In Sodom. So not only the better land and what have you enticed him pretty soon, well, he got tired of living out in the country, he went to live in town. And it was a very evil place. We'll find out later on, it'll say that it vexed his righteous soul. Because Lot was still a guy trying to serve God, but there was evilness all around. evilness was so bad that God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities of the plains. He utterly destroyed it so much is that how much of these cities have we ever found? Nothing. Not a trace. You know, we mentioned the land of Ur. David said he's been there. Back up until about 1870s, 1880s, somewhere along there, the skeptics said, we got you. There's never been a place called Ur. You know, the Bible's wrong. Somewhere along in there, somebody dug part of it up, and they figured it out, where it was at. And it was a very advanced civilization for its time, from what artifacts they found. The land of Ur was. But Sodom and Gomorrah, they have never found anything. It even relates to, it even looks like it was to be a place that could be have habitation, have people live in. Leland, you ain't got no questions so far? You usually got about 15 questions by now.
Chapter 12.
You go back to chapter 12.
Verse 1.
What's the long? We done went through that once, haven't we? Verse 1. What's the question?
The Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, your father's household, to a land I will show you.
But he takes his father with him for a ways, doesn't he? And Lot.
So is he doing what he was supposed to?
Well, he doesn't make it all the way to the land of Canaan until after his father dies, does he? But now, whether he had charge of Lot, so Lot was evidently, he kind of took, because he was a nephew, he took him under his wing. Of course, he was also his father's grandson, Lot was.
Lot had another uncle too.
That one didn't go. I don't believe, did he?
No, but Lot could stay with the other uncle.
He could have.
But Abraham, we're told, what's he referenced as throughout the Bible?
He's a man of faith, for one thing.
He's the father of the faithful.
Yeah.
If I'm reading chapter 12, verse 1 correctly, he doesn't quite live up to that commandment.
Okay.
That instruction. And he gets over it, and you mentioned there halfway through chapter 12, where he tells Sarah to lie for him.
Okay. What else do they do?
But this guy that the entire Bible refers to as faithful, he's got at least 3 mistakes recorded. As Sarah lied, doesn't separate from his family, and still God finds him satisfactory.
Okay.
In my entire life, I look at these characters of old. They had problems, and God still worked with them.
Okay.
When I have problems, God will still work with us.
Well, you know, in the New Testament it says Abraham didn't doubt, but Sarah did. But you really and truthfully, when the angel come telling me you're going to have, you got to have a kid through Sarah. You know, Ishmael's don't count, because that's another strike against. They tried to help God out by having Hagar. No, Is Hagar right? Yeah. And anyway, use her for the descendant. But yet, Abraham, well, I'm 100 years old, you know, or I'm almost 100. And now Sarah did doubt, he had a little bit down also himself. But in fact, Sarah, she had reason to doubt because she had already went through menopause. So she felt she was not even eligible anymore to have children. And it don't use the word menopause in her. And the old King James says it ceased to be the way with her like with other women. I think is the way it puts it. But anyway, she went through menopause. But yet God overcame their objections and overcame their age. And they had a son. But you are right. God fulfilled his promise on his terms and not on Abraham's terms.
And did Hagar and Ishmael have problems?
Ever since. And then,
I find it absolutely amazing that 2 generations later, they're doing the exact same thing.
yeah,
Here, you take this handbag. No, you take this handbag.
yeah.
We
But
don't learn very well.
no, we don't learn very well. But you're right about, it talks about how faithful Abraham was back in chapter, in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, I believe it is. About all the people that faithful, and boy, it really brags on it. But Abraham, he made several mistakes. Lots of people in the scriptures made mistakes, but yet God allowed them to overcome their mistakes and still approved of them. It says David was a man after God's own heart. Well, he cheated, he stole another man's wife and killed him over it. He was a murderer. You name it. And he tried it. And yet he was a man after God's own heart. That's the thing about the scriptures, Leland, is you can tell it's not a fairy tale that somebody wrote about. This is an autobiography of my life. And if somebody writes an autobiography, many times they leave out a lot of the bad stuff. Maybe all the bad stuff. Well, God's having this written. And he not only includes the good stuff they did, but if they did anything wrong, just like a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Noah. Noah's faith or grace God gave him saved this world from complete annihilation. His family was the only one saved. But yet, just as soon as he got off and got a chance to plant some grapes, he made wine and got drunk.
As we go through all of these characters, especially in Genesis, all of these individuals in the lineage of Christ, we'll spot problems every one of these individuals have.
Yes.
Just like we have problems, maybe different problems, but we fall short. So if we continue to try as these individuals continue to try, God works it for their benefit
Yes.
and His purpose.
In his purpose. Okay. Our time is about up again. See where I want to have you stop at for next week. You're right. Next week's singing night. The next time we meet, we'll start on chapter 14.